Hello and welcome to Copper Bulletins, the Warning Fan Podcast. My name is Mark,
My name is Mikey.
and we've got our first guest on. Say hello, Angelica.
You.
First up, warning news. And there's a little bit of news about the album, which is still rolling along. They've changed studios again, which is this the fourth or fifth studio they've been in?
I believe it's the. I mean, would you count the one where they did pre-production? Then it was. I don't remember the name of it, but it's the one where Paul did the drums. Then Magic Door for Alice Bass, and then the current one for Danny. So they're gonna go into the and then they're gonna go into their fifth for, I guess, the remainder.
This is why we invited Angelica on.
Angelica is very good at digging up stuff. She's a bit of a Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
She'll piece together. You know that picture of Charlie Day with the conspiracy board and all the strings? That's Angelica when it comes to figuring out what the Warning are up to.
Yes. It is scary at times.
A lot. But yeah, they've it's quite interesting because they've been filling out this like a big whiteboard to tell us where they're up to with the album. So which tracks have had which bits done. And they've just finished the lead guitar, haven't they? And vocals. Mm-hmm. So I think basically we now have the sort of the base of the album recorded. And it seems that what they're doing now is all the little bits that go on top. So guitar overdubs, other instruments, backing vocals and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know if this is normal using so many studios. I'd be intrigued to know if anyone else has any experience of this.
None of us know, by the way. That's a question for all 5 of you who watch this.
Yeah. Well, no,
all 4 because
all 4 because Angelica's here.
But I mean, I think what's interesting is for our second album for Queen of the Murder Scene, they only took 2 weeks in the studio versus this one that's been like almost 2 months. So it's kind of, and like, I mean, the second album is amazing. So it's like interesting to see that. I guess now they're able to take more time on it, but it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think we all know it's going to be amazing. It's definitely interesting to see the different approach they're taking for this.
I do wonder if maybe the part of the reason Queen of the Murder Scene was so quick was because studios are expensive and they were crowdfunded at the time. So now Kickstarter and Patreon plus the backing of Lava, things probably aren't quite so tight in that respect.
Yeah. Very likely.
It's been really interesting to hear little stories like the amount of time David Bender spent to try and find the right mic for Danny's voice and stuff like that.
Or seeing how David Bender tried to force Pow to eat food.
And failing at it.
Yes. Yeah. I still don't think she's a fan. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and there's little psychological techniques for getting them to do things. That old trick of of where
like a different song.
Yeah, or where you have an idea, I want this person to do something, but I'm going to work it so I convince them it was their idea, so they want to do it more, which seems to be one of his skills. Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, today we've got Angelica with us, who is a long-time member of the Warning Army. Do you want to give us a bit of your story, maybe? Like, who are you in the Greeks?
Where are you from? What's your social security number? All that jazz.
How do you find the band?
Credit card info. Yes.
Yeah.
So I discovered the Warning in September of 2019, so a little over a year ago. Pretty much my story is a lot like a lot of the Warning Army, where I got a suggestion to see Enter Sandman on YouTube. I watched it. I was very impressed. So I decided to check out another one of their videos. I believe the next one that I saw was The Pretender. I was like, I think at that point I was even more impressed. And then after that, I stumbled into their original music, which was with the TED Talk, where they played Survive, and then that's when I was like, oh wow, they're not just like good at covering music; they're good at writing their own, and I was like, started following them from there.
Survive does seem to be the one that kind of hooks people.
It's enter Sandman into Survive.
Yeah, that's your route, isn't it? That's your
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I feel like Survive, like even if you're not too into like the rock music, I feel like it really captures a lot of people. My like my sister, for example, she's not really a big rock person, but like when I played her that song, she actually got like a little interested in them. Obviously, a little later, I kind of got her to like their music a little more, but
you've basically been hounding her about it, haven't you?
You now have the platform to say what she wants us to be known as.
Oh yes, the Warninators.
Her sister is determined for that to catch on.
I'm not sure. My favorite sort of fan group name that I've seen was one just specifically POW, and that was POW Patrol, was genius. I can't remember who came up with that, but I saw that and I was like, that's
Please tell me
amazing.
They edited different POW faces on the kids show with the dogs.
I did that. I know I did one.
Oh yes, I remember seeing that one.
Yeah, but which actually that leads us very nicely into what your little project is, doesn't it, Angelica?
Not very little anymore.
No one there. It's growing, isn't it?
So yeah, I run the on Instagram. I run the Warning Memory, which is a fan account where I post a lot of warning related memes. And I think at first I wasn't really like when I first started it. I wasn't really expecting it to like grow that much. Like I was gonna. I think I was more expecting I'd probably post a few things and then it just kind of would die.
Well, I suppose with something like that, it's whether you think you can come up with enough ideas to make it a regular thing, which you don't seem to have a problem with.
Yeah, I was like, oh, at first I had a lot of ideas, but then I started trying to pace myself with my ideas. Because I think the first like 2-3 weeks, I pretty much made a meme like every single day. And obviously, with work and other stuff, I had to kind of mainly keep it towards the end of the week or towards like third day. So any POW and other days. But occasionally, when there's a material that comes out that inspires me, I throw in a meme here or there. Like when they had us do the trivia, that was a fun time.
Yeah,
like 3 memes a day.
That's the thing, isn't it? Because you want to pace yourself, but at the same time, the half life of a meme can be quite small. So it's that thing. If you wait, by the time you got it out there, everyone's forgotten about what it's referring to. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, you need to get them out there.
Also,
sometime within minutes of something going on Instagram.
Also, remember, this band consists of the 3 most meme-worthy people I have ever met.
Yes, they're very memeable. I think a lot of people can attest to that.
Yes, no, that definitely they provide an endless stream of material in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest, that account kind of made me think about doing this podcast because it was like everyone's doing stuff. I want to do something. I'm feeling left out here.
I'm glad it motivated you. I got motivated when you just told me I want to do a podcast, and I was like, okay, I'll do one with you.
Because I know I dabble in memes, but I don't have quite the output required to do it.
He has a fine taste. It is not a diverse taste.
I mean, I think I started that meme account like after in the fan server, the Warning Army fan server. I would post some of my memes, and then I was like, why not share it with like the rest of the Warning Army? So
Yeah.
Mikey, you also inspired me. So indirectly, you also inspired the.
I'm going to take this time to plug myself in this podcast because I now have the opportunity to. I am the owner of Warning Army Discord fan server. Mark runs this YouTube channel. He'll put a link in the description because he's a nice guy. Please check it out. We love new people. We are the indirect reason you have memes and this podcast. You're welcome. No, I'm kidding. But
yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, I mean the band do have their own Discord as well. But that's tied to Patreon. So if you're on, is it $10 and above Patreon tier, you get access to the band's Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they're kind of busy at the moment, so don't spend a lot of time in there.
We're free, but if
kind of
you want to pay me, you can. But it's optional.
yeah, Mikey's server's free, but less likely to find the band in there. But you will find Mikey. So
you'll see their account, and they just won't see them post anything.
Yeah. They're in there for the emojis.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the fan server has better emotes, so there is that.
Hey, that's kind of an indirect diss at me because I'm the mod for the Patreon one.
Yes.
So
I mean, you're also the mod for me.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I'm glad you forgot. Anyway, enough about just me. Let's drag Angelica into the New York story because we both went to Mercury Lounge December 4th. I'm sure we both have fairly different stories, although we have stories that tie into each other quite nicely. We'll get to the funny one at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to basically listen because obviously you guys both went. I've still not seen The Warning because I'm in England and they've not made it over here yet. But yeah, you've seen them and you went to that pretty special show as well.
Yes. So Mercury 4th was, Mercury Lounge were the shows when they got the meetings with Lava. So it's kind of historic.
Yeah, I mean, Jason Fong was in that one, so that's pretty awesome.
Neither of us knew that.
I bet Angelica did.
No, I didn't. I mean, I think I could say pretty much from like September when I discovered them to December, I was like more of a lurker in the fandom. I wasn't like very involved, so not yet. That started until 2020. So.
When Angelica was locked in a house in quarantine and had nothing better to do than just research and memes.
Exactly.
Full-time job can be put on the side burner. The Warning comes first.
Mm-hmm.
What else are you going to do?
Exactly. So, would you like to give your story of, well, you'll tell your story of like going to the show and then like getting there. I'll give mine and we can kind of just branch out into the stories we have of the show itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes. Figure out where they cross over.
Mm-hmm. So pretty much, I'm actually from Chicago, so I flew to New York. It was kind of like a way for me to, because I had never been to New York, so I was like kind of like a 2-for-1. Go kind of sightsee in New York and see The Warning. I pretty much arrived that same day of the concert. I arrived there in the morning. Did a little sightseeing. I went to my Airbnb. That was actually walking distance from the concert. So I
and a nice one, or was it horrible?
It was pretty good. It was pretty nice and it wasn't too expensive. So pretty much, I left to the concert probably like an hour or so before they opened the doors. So I could try and get like a good spot. Yeah, I think pretty much in the concert I was on the right side by Danny's mic. Pretty much I was in the second row. Mikey will mention he was also on that side, but a little behind me.
Directly behind you.
Yes.
So sounded really creepy.
Shut up. So my story is I had invited a friend. I wanted to go, but I don't like going to New York City alone. And I was like, hey, do you know this band? He was like, basically heard one song from them before from someone that he worked with just playing it on the radio. So he was like, sure, but I'm down to go to the city. I was like, okay. So we go to the city. We go to Cat's Diner, which is way too expensive. Go that just take a picture outside if it's a tourist attraction. Don't pay $60 for food.
I mean, it's pretty good.
I mean, I will vouch
yeah,
that it is good.
But yeah, the food is definitely on the.
And then we waited online in the rain. The doors were like 45 minutes delayed opening, and it picked a really good day to do that because it was cold as hell. It was raining. And my friend and I had arrived like an hour earlier. So, 2 hours in the cold rain. That was fun. And then we go in, could have gotten front row, but my friend decided, nah, I'm gonna go get water. So, that was nice of him. So we get like third or fourth priorities. Row. Exactly. Why are you hydrating? So we go in. So I keep my winter jacket on. There was coat check at the beginning, at the entrance, and issue was I was wearing pants that had barely any pockets, and I was carrying a lot of stuff on my person. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna go keep the jacket on. How bad could it be? It was cold as hell out. Even during the opening act, when you're into it, but you're not exerting so much energy, headbanging and dancing. Also, Devin plays more R&B style. She's very good, but it's not really anything you rock out to. Mm-hmm. I was already melting. So you can imagine when the warning came on. Now, me wearing a winter jacket is kind of important as to finding out that I was in front of Angelica or behind Angelica, because I can't lift my arm all the way up because it's a heavy winter jacket. I don't want to get to I basically don't want. I don't know. Also, look at me. I am literally like I'm a stick. But
that's true. Fair point. You got arms like pipe cleaners.
Yes. I look like an elementary school kid's horror project when they take a cotton ball and they put wiring into it to make a little person that your mom puts in the window and hopes no one notices. So I couldn't get my arm all the way up, which also affected the garbage quality photos that I was taking, which also didn't help to the fact that my phone's old as hell and the photo quality was already bad. But there was this short woman in front of me that I didn't want to elbow in the head. I was like, I don't want to elbow this person, because the person next to them was also like a 6'4" man in his 20s, and I wasn't ready to fight anything like that. So I was like, if they are together, I am dead. 1 month later, when I find out who Angelica is, we start talking, and I find out, oh, I was directly behind her, and she was the woman who I nearly elbowed in the skull.
Yes.
Nice to have something like common ground to talk about.
And then I think we can both attest to how good the show was.
Yeah, it was like very like energetic. It was, I don't know, it was just,
I mean,
like
the most extroverted we ever felt.
Exactly.
I know from what I've heard other people say as well, especially people, especially people who've seen the band several times before, even them saying there was something sort of different about that show. There was something in the air, and I guess looking back, we kind of know why, because there was a lot riding on it to a certain degree, and in no small part due to the most incredible inception level of hustling from Rudy, from the sounds of it, to get that all to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was a good show, and like also like finding like I think that was they also had to mention that was like the first show where there were no like tech issues, which was also kind of amazing.
Danny was sick.
Yeah, but like no like tech issues, like
yeah,
like the the first night where Alice's bass strap broke and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It was like
Danny didn't
none of that.
stamp on the pedal board.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe it was like a sign that everything pretty much is perfect, obviously, besides Danny's voice.
Wait, was that the show where Powell played the wrong song? Or was it the show where she got the lyrics to Survive wrong?
No, you're thinking of the whiskey.
Whiskey.
I'm thinking of the whiskey.
Yes.
I remember there was 2 shows where they.
They're both at the whiskey. The ones you're talking about.
Don't expose us to doing zero research before any of these podcasts.
I think you can. There's a lot of shows out there on YouTube. I think I can be forgiven for getting a bit confused. I just remember those moments out of context. Normally, the
this
only
happened. I just don't know where or when.
Yeah, I believe. Survive was that first night at the whiskey on the 15th, and the Survive. Forgetting lyrics, and then the one about the song was on the 16th at the whiskey. I was
normally the best way to identify which gig it was is by what they were wearing.
Yep.
It's the best way to.
Or by just asking the person who went to all the shows in Angelica.
Well, yeah.
That's me.
So how many shows is that now?
I've only that's 3 total that I've gone to.
Oh, 3 more than me.
I'm at 1, which is 1 more than you.
I've got to admit, I did get as far as kind of looking into flights to New York for the Mercury shows and looking at, accommodation.
Money you have to commit to that.
That also, but I think it was more a case of just logistics. I couldn't wangle it at the time. So,
technically, we all saw the Quarantine concert and Detour, so you can technically say that you've seen 2. I've seen 3, and Angelica's seen 5. Catching up with Matthew.
Surely Matthew's 15. No.
Yeah, I don't think any of us can catch him.
If anyone doesn't know Matthew, he's a lovely gentleman from England who has seen just about every concert live.
The definition of super fan, I think.
Yes, Matthew, please tell us how you do it. We need tips. Okay,
maybe we'll get him on if he wants to talk to us.
If he wants to talk to us.
Yeah.
So I can also attest to how great the show was. It was fun. Should we now tell the story of when you have it on you, the drumstick?
Yes, please tell
the story of that.
Yes. So at the end of the show, Powell threw her drumsticks. I ended up catching the one that she threw to the right, and here it is. And then I had her sign it at the meet and greet. Here you can see her signature.
Very nice.
And then Mikey can probably tell the part that connects this drumstick to his side of the story.
Yes. So I forget. Did you catch it from someone or did you pick it up?
I picked it up.
Okay. So she found it on the ground, and the reason it was on the ground was Powell, at the end of the show, they do it all the time. Powell throws the drumsticks, Allie and Danny throw the picks, wave goodbye, bow, photo shoot, the works. So Powell's throwing drumsticks. There's a lot of really excited adults and kids and teenagers who just want to catch something, those people who I need something, It's like watching all the people fight for the bouquet at a wedding, just like they're gonna tear each other's hair out to catch it.
It's nice that there are a lot of younger people there, because obviously there's a lot of older guys in the fan base as well, because I guess the music reminds older people of classic rock and stuff like that. I do wonder though if why Dust to Dust is popular. Because the line "Our bones will rust," and a lot of the older fans relate to that because they've got hip replacements and stuff like that, so their bones actually will rust.
Great way to just tell half the fan base that they're not going to be on this podcast because they're not going to want to be now.
They can go on. Let's get them on.
But
drumstick.
So my friend, who's liked the show, he's a fan of them now. But still wants to hydrate, I guess, because he went, to be fair, 2 hours or 2.5 hours without water in like the hottest 1x1 room I ever been a part of. So, but my friend's like a nice guy. He's like waiting for everyone behind him to like, wave and leave. He's not going to push his way through. So his back's to the stage and they're throwing their stuff out. Pal throws a drumstick and it hits my friend in the head, turns around, thinks someone has hit him, just looks around like what the hell just happened. And my favorite part of the story is the guy standing next to him. I do not know who he is. I don't know his name. Don't know where he's from. He gave me one of the best moments of my life. I can't repeat what he said because there's a curse involved. But he just looked down, looked at my friend, said, "That's fill in the blank." And my friend just said, "I know." And we carried on with our day and did not realize the little Spanish woman from Chicago sneaking her way in to get the drumstick.
Don't be suspicious.
I just
Can't
like to
believe-
imagine like this
believe you left it
comedic
there.
moment of you like walking out to like get online from meetings and just tripping over the drumstick and finding it.
Yeah, I mean, that meet and greet, like, I was actually the first one that I was in the line. It was weird because I was just like talking with someone there. We were just talking about the concert and how awesome it was. And then all of a sudden I turn around and I see them and I like start like fangirling kind of because I was not ready.
The Spanglish came out.
Exactly. So I pretty much just like my brain didn't know what language it wanted to speak in. So I pretty much just talked to them in Spanglish. It was probably pretty bad.
I mean,
And yeah, it's and then when I showed them like the stick, they were like, I saw Pao and Ale like kind of like snickering. So that's when I made the connection also that's probably the one that hit your friend.
Oh, so she obviously knew she hit someone with it.
yes,
Yeah, so-
because on Patreon, on the New York vlog, Pal mentions that she hit someone with a drumstick. And I should
Mhm.
point this out. My favorite part of this is Danny goes, "I think he was in his 30s. Pal gave him the benefit of the doubt and said he was in his 20s. My friend at the time was 18. He has the same exact birthday as me, same year, same day.
Have like a rough paper route or something, and all uphill.
So
I'm here thinking that, but no, what actually happened is Ali's just said, "Bet you $5 you can't hit that guy on the head with a drumstick." It's like, watch me. Yeet.
my friend was 18 at the show. I agree, he looks older than 18 at the time, 19 now. But it was the funniest moment of my life. I probably can't like directly thank them for this, but thank you, pal. Thank you for having such great aim. You gave me the funniest moment of my life. Thank you.
So, Angelica, thanks for coming on. Have you had fun?
Yes, it's
it's
been
been-
a fun one.
I think it's definitely been better how to have someone else to bounce off.
Yes, definitely. Would you like to discuss whiskey shows since you've just been to them?
Yeah, go on, tell us about the whiskey. Rub it in.
Well, for those whiskey shows, I actually didn't buy my ticket to go see them until like 10 days before the shows. I pretty much was like YOLO. And now with how everything kind of developed for 2020, I was like, I'm kind of like grateful I kind of YOLO there. So I went to both shows, and I also went to the soundcheck on the 16th. Pretty much the first day, I actually worked like half a day, and then I went took my plane to LA, and pretty much I just went to the hotel, dropped my stuff, and went directly to the whiskey. By the time I got there, it was a little late, and people were already in, so I had to be more in the back. that time I was on the right side again, facing Danny. But as the kind of show went on, like I was able to kind of slowly get to the front.
Like go
And
between
again,
people's legs.
yes. It was a great show again. I mean, pretty much all their shows are great.
You can do that when
Why
you
Angelica keep on to this podcast just to get short jokes made of her?
It's fine. I'm used to it. But yeah, it's I actually recorded that whole concert pretty much, besides like 3 areas where like I accidentally hit stop because it's just jumping and singing.
Yeah, bouncing around. It's
Jumping, trying to see over the 6 foot tall men standing in the front row.
And yeah, I mean, definitely one of the highlights was Paolo or not really saying the beginning lyrics of Survive. I think that's a highlight for a lot of people.
Do you remember what exactly she said?
No, she's like, so she pretty like mumbled it.
Yeah.
Mumble rapper pal.
But she styled it out, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
And didn't really miss a beat.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the great things about them is like even if when they make mistakes, they're like able to like move from them. So like, yeah, she made that mistake, but then she killed it. So it's like, and whenever they have any issues, they just like know how to like move from it.
I was gonna try to make an all mistakes pun out of that, but couldn't think of one.
Oof.
But maybe next time. But no, think for a musician, if you make a mistake, you're always way more aware of it than anyone else is. And most of the time, the audience don't even know. They won't even pick it up. But if you then stop and go, oh, I've made a mistake, then they're going to know. So, yeah, if you just power on through, no one's ever.
Also, if you just laugh at it and have fun with the fact that you made a mistake.
Yeah, like, yeah, I mean, like, I think one of the big things with them is like they know how to like entertain. They play their instruments, sure, but like they know how to like make it like. Yeah, one of the things I always notice is just like the energy they bring in. Like, pretty much that day, I had actually, since I still had work, like around that time I was busy at work, but I decided to just like work from the hotel just to go see them. I was only going off of like 2-3 hours of sleep, and like once the show started, I like that just like went out the window. I just like didn't even feel like I was tired at all.
Who cares? Well,
on a meeting table after the show.
I live here now. Just watching them like in a vlog, just talking sometimes is exhausting. Like you say, so much energy. Actually, one other thing we can probably mention. I know we sort of picked up in the first one where we talked about all these sort of interactive stuff and the fan interactions. We did all get to play Among Us with them.
Oh yes. That was fun. Yeah, so yeah, they played with on their Patreon server. They played with the $25 tier, the 1 army tier, and like I think on only one game they played just using the chat in Among Us itself. But then after that, they ended up joining the voice chat and kind of actually using that to kind of suss people out, and it was awesome.
One thing we learned from that is never play poker with Pal for money because she she doesn't give anything away.
Pal will win an Oscar one day, I can guarantee you.
I mean, besides that one time she got caught red-handed. His red hands
and she said, I'm
That's
just
the
going to
part I wanted.
And she's like,
that's the quality content people came for.
I'm just going to kill someone right here in the middle of everyone else in broad because I don't care. I'm not very good at that game, I have to admit. Although I did kill you twice, didn't I, Angelica?
Yes. I was the first kill in those. I was like, no.
You just happened to be near me. But I haven't played it enough.
It was your fault, Angelica.
No, I haven't played it enough, so I'm not good enough at faking the tasks.
Yeah, I feel like being imposter, I think, for anyone is hard. But I mean, Ale was a great detective, I felt. Like,
yes.
He kind of caught on to a lot of stuff. I'm like,
Well, speaking of detectives, you figured it out, didn't you? Because like when one of them, because they were following each other around, but then when one of them was the imposter, they split up. So if they split up, then you need to worry.
Yeah, I think that was actually Carol that noticed that one.
Oh, was it?
At the end, yeah.
Carol, come on to our podcast. We'll talk about Among Us with you.
No, because I killed Ali in front of her. I didn't know she was there because in electrical, there's that little dog leg around
that wall.
Yeah. So Ali was coming out. I was like, oh, here's a kill. Power was just behind the wall, and I didn't see her. So like a second later, it's like
Should have
it's not
turned
what
off
it
the
looks
lights.
like. Yeah, it's not what it looks. Okay, it is what it looks like. I still kill that guy.
While we were on the topic of Patreon, I think we mentioned it earlier. You are the Patreon server's moderator, handpicked by Rudy himself,
Yeah,
our
the
Lord and
anointed one.
Savior.
Man, the myth, the legend.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Okay, that was all. Would you like to give the story of how that came about and what it's like?
Yeah, sure. I think pretty much when they started the server, there really wasn't too much. There was like only 2 channels. I believe it was like the general channel and like Pets Rock.
The Pets one was the first, wasn't it?
Yeah, and there was like a week or so after like the server started, there was like an issue with the channels, like they weren't working. So I just reached out to him and like told him that he needed to contact Discord so that they could go look into the issue. It was fixed a few days later, and then Rudy just like sent me a DM saying if I could help him kind of set it up and kind of like make it better, kind of adding channels and stuff like that, emojis, and that's what I do. Pretty much, I add all the emojis that we use there. I add channels based on what people want to see in the server, and it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. And obviously, keep the peace.
Yeah. Yes.
Obviously,
well,
keep the peace.
I've not seen much to indicate that there needs to be a lot of peacekeeping on there. It seems quite civilized most of the time, all the time, in fact.
Yeah, just whenever, if there's anyone that wants to get out of line, just there.
You gotta slap them down if it happens. I'm sure it won't. Was there one thing that certainly I've seen is that it seems to be quite a friendly community, the old morning fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I feel like they make it easier to be a mod in the server. No one gets riled up right now.
So yeah, if you want to.
Also helps when everyone's just talking about a band they all like.
Exactly. Yeah. it's not much scope for disagreeing on that. It's like, what's your favorite song? Oh, all of them. So.
What's your favorite band? The Warning, me too. It's why we're on Patreon.
And who'd have thought it? So yeah, if you want to get involved in that Discord server, jump on Patreon. It's weird because obviously,
again, you can pay me if you want to, but
don't pay.
Don't. It's not worth the money. But just join for free.
It is interesting to see how maybe Patreon's role is going to perhaps change in the future for the band, because it's very much been their primary means of support for, or certainly a major means of support for the longest time. But obviously, with the Lava deal, there'll be a financial element there. So I guess at the very least, they're less dependent on Patreon. But I guess it's still almost like a sort of it's like a fan club, isn't it, that you're paying for? That's what, you can go see Kiss, and you can pay like what £400 to get a VIP ticket to go and see them and get a picture and a hover hand with them. So yeah, and there's been some really great rewards from Patreon. I like my handwritten lyrics; they're really good.
Yeah, the ones. Which ones do you have? I have the POW.
Yes. I've got a friend. I've got Black holes, say hi. He just jumped up on me. But certainly, like sort of 15, 16-year-old me would have killed to have something like that from the bands I listened to back then. From Iron Maiden or Guns N' Roses or something.
40-something-year-old she was kind of like, that's pretty neat.
Exactly. I'm like reliving my youth. Mentally, physically, much harder.
Back when you had hair.
Yeah, and when I didn't make a noise when I stand up from a seat. You guys have got all that kind of stuff to look forward to. I'm just like desperately
a lot closer to it than I am.
I'm just desperately trying to keep my cat out of the frame right now because he's jumped on me. I mean, given that I've been interrupted by the cat, I don't know. Are we pretty much at the end? Anyone else got anything else they want to say? Or
are we gonna end it on
close it there and say goodbye? Yeah, you know what? YouTube likes cats, so I'll lift him up again. Say hello. This is
when we get famous.
The thumbnail.
Oh, he looks angry.
We're famous now.
Oh, he angry.
Yep.
Put a picture of Pal playing the drums next to that face because I think it's the same face.
He looked very. He's not a spicy cat, but he looked very angry then.
Spicy cat.
Yeah,
is that how you describe an angry cat these days?
Yeah, they spicy boy. But no, he's. Yeah, I think Cat Chaos has probably brought this to an end. But I think it's we've covered everything we want to talk to. We've had a good chat.
Fun.
So yeah, it was, and it felt. I mean, it felt easier to do with someone else to bounce off. Definitely.
Yeah. Mark and I were just staring at each other, trying not to laugh at our introduction.
Exactly. Or recording like 50 minutes worth and scrapping the whole lot because it wasn't very good at all.
Why are you telling people this?
People like that. People like that.
That first podcast was the first one we recorded. You don't have to tell anyone.
People like the tea, you know.
Yeah, people can relate to that kind of thing.
We're gonna have a blooper video after 2 freaking podcasts.
But sorry, keep saying Catty is popping up on my screen. But yeah, Angelica, honestly, thanks for coming on. That was really nice. Really appreciate you coming on, taking some time out of your day.
So thank you for inviting me. So.
Yeah, it's been cool. So yeah, go follow Angelica's meme account, the Warning Memery. I'll put it on the screen because I think I know how to do that now. So that'll be cool.
You can also follow my Twitter, the Warning Memes.
On Twitter and follow the Warning. Join their Patreon.
It's not on the screen. Just assume Mark doesn't know how to do it. It's in the description below.
Follow them on Instagram because it's really funny, some of that stuff, and follow them on YouTube because music and because they're great. But,
and if I haven't plugged enough, my Discord server, no, but that's gonna get plugged to every podcast.
Yeah.
But
join Mikey's Discord. Yeah, if you've made it to the end, thank you very much. I can't believe you didn't have anything better to do, but thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.